Hello, my name is Matthew, and I will be presenting on reimaging tropes in pop culture, and I'll be mainly focusing on film and television of Asian Americans and how it affected them and what positive effects and negative effects they had towards it. And basically some of the history behind uh what do I say? Like what they did. So this is my introduction to Asian American film. Asian characters were first introduced in film via yellowface. This means like people, white or other races, basically uh, coloring and doing makeup on their face and other factors to make themselves look like, I don't know, Asian Americans or just Asians in general. And it, Asian Americans rarely got to play the main roles for many reasons. I don't. One of the main reasons is that they were always not really seen as like in the beginning. They weren't really seen as like being like successful towards a movie because a lot of people didn't like watching that. I don't know. That's just how it was. Uh, the first few actors that got into Asian American film really did something for the culture. I mean, everything. Like they it was like really hard at first to get into those roles, but once they fought they're like themselves into those roles, uh, that's where Asian Americans in film began to like expand. And yeah, but when they were doing that, racial stereotypes were still being used on the characters. And in our current day, uh, racial stereotypes have decreased. Uh, there, it's more freely like open now. But yeah, how Asian Americans were introduced into Hollywood. Asian Americans were first introduced into Hollywood as almost like a side characters to movies and TV shows. So basically, they would have like a white person, like a white actor, as like the main character, and almost like the Asian American or the Asian in the movie would be like almost like a side character or is like not as important to the movie. They were never a part of the main cast because directors believed that it would lower the movie's chance of being successful. Well, okay, I wouldn't say never, but they like back then they weren't really prompted to be in that part. But yeah, the directors were worried about the success of the movie due to these actors and it being new. Anime was one of the first actors to successfully achieve the main character in The Toll of the Sea, which was pretty cool. But yeah, Hollywood is still mostly white. There's not really that much diversity. I mean, there's a lot more than before, that's for sure. And that's a lot better, obviously. And also, yeah, Yellowface was also in Hollywood a lot. And it was being done till the late 2000s, which is actually really like surprising because that's pretty recent. But yeah, um, the racist factors in film. So a few racist factors are obviously Yellowface. That's probably the most talked about one. Asian Americans were seen as like side characters to white characters, like I said earlier. I don't know why I said that again. They were represented as a villain or like bad people in the movies. An example of this is like anime, and she was like always seen as like the, I don't know, bad girl to the other person, always ended up like being the villain and tying at the end. Uh, Many of the actors were not treated the best in the film. And were not paid equal compared to like other actors, but because of their skin tone, due to the fact that they weren't really accepted as much that then. It's happened around like the 1900s. Uh, oh yeah, shoot, and also people would mock Asian accents because they thought it was like funny. Like this would happen in many movies, but yeah, they were just like basically like mock them, especially in like when they had yellow face. They were just like, I don't know how to explain it. Here now we talking about just yellowface. Yellowface was actually more common than thought. Yeah, yellowface was basically the mockery of Asian people from other races, which is, not acceptable because imagine that on any other type of race. For some reason, this act was accepted for a long time by many who supported these movies with yellowface in them, because these movies were still being watched a ton, even though yellowface was being shown in them. The image on the right shows Mickey Tooney in the Breakfast at Tiffany's, which is basically a white guy who has dressed up to or did makeup dressed up to look like a Asian dude, but he's like squinting his eyes and everything. He's like he's prompted as like a nerd, like his teeth are also out a little bit, but that's all like just fake. Yeah. Yeah. Uh, yeah, I just explained that. They also, oh yeah, also they use accents on these characters, which is racist as well. Negative representation. Um, Asian Americans were represented more negatively than positively, which was a major issue. Asian women were hypersexualized in these movies, uh, meaning like, I don't know, uh, they were like seen as just like the really like, I don't know, like either nice, like the bad villain, or like the really like pretty girl in the movie or something. Asian men were also seen as nerds, like I just said in the slide before, or also bad people. There's also cultural exaggeration, meaning like they were just like making fun of the culture in especially in Yellowface. And even when the Asian actors were doing it, they didn't want to do these roles, but they were forced to through like the directors if or they wouldn't be able to get the role. The model minority was also a part of it, and people of color also had to work extra hard due to these limited opportunities. They wanted the movies to feel ethnic even though they used yellowface. There's also positive representation in these movies and TV shows. Asian Americans are now seen more equal rather than outsiders due to their like exposure throughout the years. And yeah, it's a lot better, but obviously it's not as much. It needs to be more than now. Asian Americans receive more recognition than before, which I just said basically, but that's really good because they weren't really seen as much as like a lot of other races, but because I don't know, they're just like put off to the side for some reason, and now they're getting seen more through these movies. They were able to express themselves without worrying how other people feel about it. Yeah, meaning like now, uh, they're able to, what do I say, like show what they feel basically without like the directors or other people of other races thinking about how they should act or how they want them to act. So yeah, obviously like a lot of these things are like newer things, but it's good still. Why was film a big addition into Asian American culture? Film was a major advancement into Asian American culture due to the limited background before. Asian Americans were not always seen as good, but as good, like as in like they weren't seen as like good as like other actors of different races, but their films uplifted them and represented them better, allowing more Asian Americans to start enjoying the movies from Asian Americans like looking at their watching themselves and other or Asian Americans watching Asian actors rather than just the yellow face and all that. So that's a lot really good. For many years, Asian Americans were put through rat racial tropes, but films allowed them to be more like themselves without trying to put on an Asian persona. So yeah, they were yeah, basically that. How far Asian American movies and TV shows have come today. Asian Americans are much better represented in movies than before. They deserve more than what was achieved due to the challenging things that they have gone through. Like, due to more Asian Americans being in movies and like TV shows, it now will further represent Asian culture. I'm just basically like referencing the stuff from before. Asian Americans in movies from the past also represent the cultural struggles that they had faced, and these struggles can be compared to now, which are a lot better and better define who Asian Americans are rather than just racial stereotypes. Due to the underrepresentation of Asian Americans, new movies without stereotypes will wait, hold on. Definitely, I don't even know what it said there. Attract more people because they are being their true self and use more sources. So yeah, thank you for letting me present. And yeah, thanks.